This is Napalm Jed Johnson, and I'm joined by Alan Hynek once again, and this is episode 76 of This Week in Grip. And today we are doing a response show, responding to the thread on the grip board, Brian Shaw, Juji Mufu, and the Hub Lift. And we're going to be covering a lot of things today because we are pretty much going to start at post number 1 in this thread, read it, and then go on down. Some things we're going to skip, but a lot of this stuff is going to be addressed and bring you the aspect, at least of, in my case, someone who lived pretty much everything that is being addressed in this thread, and bring it to you as accurate as I can possibly do it based on my memory. So before we get into that, I just want to make sure everybody knows that I am having a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale on a ton of different products, and you can go to the description box and click the link, and you can see exactly what is going on there. To give you an idea, a lot of the workouts that are usually like $17 to $27 are like $9.99. A lot of the monthly programs that are usually closer to $40 are about $20, and $10 to $20 has been knocked off a bunch of other products. I've got special prices on coaching calls, video analysis, even special prices on lifetime memberships at TGA, special offer on Napalm's Nightmare, special pricing on Napalm Pinch, all that stuff. So go to the description box below and check that out, because there's probably something that is going to benefit you greatly in that special sale. The other thing, make sure you check out my buddy Luke's Arm Assassin Strength Shop website that he just launched on Friday. It's got everything that he offers there as well. So if you're looking to get some stocking stuffers or maybe some big primary gifts under the Christmas tree this year, that's probably something that you want to look at as well. So grab yourself some equipment and some knowledge, some information products through one of the links in the description box below. I want to remind everybody to like the video. You're doing an awesome job of that. Be sure to hit the like button. It's the big thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. I'm currently 6 people away from 10,000 the last time I looked. So
yep.
We are almost
just
there.
Checked too.
Almost there. If you have a response to anything that we say today, I welcome you to leave a comment below. It doesn't matter who you are. And what else, Alan? Anything else? No. I appreciate everybody that watched last week. We covered feats in episode 75, so if you didn't see that yet, go back and check it out. And there will also be a link to the This Week in Grip playlist so that you can go in and watch everything from beginning to end, or see if you've missed anything and things along those lines. And don't forget, guys, a lot of our shows are very, very long. I saw some feedback about Brian Shaw's and Juji Mufu's videos being too long, and they're about a third the length of these shows. So in case you don't know, you can always start a video, then go back to your history by clicking Library and then History on your mobile phone, and you'll be able to go back and check or rewatch the videos that you've started right about from the spot that you left off. So give that a try if you haven't already. Alan, how are you doing, buddy? Haven't talked to you since last week. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody listening had one as well that's living in the United States and celebrates that holiday.
Yeah, I've been doing good. Survived Black Friday anyway.
Did you go out shopping?
How'd that go for you? I definitely went out Black Friday, but I wasn't one of the crazy people like my wife that goes out Thursday night and practically camps out and does that part of it. But midway through Black Friday, I did go out, picked up a new cell phone, and ordered one of those smartwatches. Kind of pumped about that.
Okay.
But otherwise, the crowds were pretty well cleared out at that point. So just got to see the aftermath. Did you get out at all?
No, dude. No, I don't think. I might have been at a gas station or maybe a grocery store on Black Friday, but that's it. I do not do any of that stuff.
No, it's a huge mistake.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what could possibly happen. So all this craziness that I've seen on clips on like Barstool Sports and stuff like that on Instagram, there's no way that I want to be a part of that. That's just not fun stuff. I get enough of my fun reading Gripboard threads. So that's enough for me.
Well,
what else is new, man? Anything?
Well, no, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. I picked up one of the. Well, I haven't got it yet. It hasn't shipped that I'm aware of. But Barrel Strength just popped out some of those blob trainers, and that was something I've been waiting for a while, for somebody to come out with something like that. And I picked one of those bad boys up, so I can't wait to get that thing and start playing with it. Looked pretty cool. So
cool. You have to let us know how it goes and how it feels.
Yeah, checked out Luke's website. That's a long time coming. Now you actually get to see all of the products that he's got. He's got quite the wide array.
Oh, yeah.
That was neat. Yeah, tons of stuff there.
No doubt.
Should keep him busy.
Shoot, what was I going to say? Darn it. Darn. Gone. Totally gone. Whatever I was going to say is gone, brother. I'm sorry. I know what I was going to do. Is tell you a story. Check this out. Did you know that you can break the floor with the inch dumbbell?
I would have assumed that.
Yeah. I should have assumed that too. Yeah. So I've been working on the overhead lift of the clean and press of the inch dumbbell. I was getting really close on Tuesday, man. It was pretty good. Like I went from barely being able to get it off my shoulder to dropping down to our 123 and getting that overhead no problem. And then I started getting properly warmed up and primed and got it pretty close. I would say maybe 6 to 8 inches from getting it to the point where I could probably lock it out. And the problem was it was out in front of me. And so I just let it crash to the ground and ended up breaking the floor at the new gym. It landed.
So did it go through?
No, it didn't go through. I think if there were no rubber mats, it probably would have had a chance at going all the way through. But it was broke pretty well. So we did the thing that we did years ago in the old Diesel Crew garage. We filled up the recess that is now the dent in the floor. We filled that up with sand and then covered it up with cardboard. So it's now flat. I didn't realize it broke for 5 minutes, and I kind of walked by and I'm like, why is the floor so spongy?
So what?
I found out real quick why it was.
You got a wood floor there, don't you?
It's not wood per se. It is like the tongue and groove type flooring, and then below that there's actually a layer of tile. And then below that, I don't know, maybe wood, but it's not it's not just wood right under the rubber mats. It's I'm going to call it a decorative style flooring.
Oh, okay.
And it looked perfectly fine when I got the place. Now we're slowly popping holes in it and breaking water pipes and everything like that. But yeah, I thought that would be something cool to share. Anyone buys a building and puts a gym in there, your best bet is not to drop the inch dumbbell from overhead unless you've got.
So your place is. This is on a basement, right?
I'm sorry.
This place just on a foundation, or do you actually have a basement? Or
no, dude.
What's underneath of it?
I have a basement. There's a basement down there.
Is there clearance to do that sort of activity down below?
No, I can barely.
That would suck. Yeah. Okay, I see.
I get a headache from slouching every time I go downstairs. So.
Sure. Okay. Well, then that's out then.
No, good thinking.
So,
take the inch down there and do it down there where sand floor. That would be a fantastic idea, but no, not realistic, unfortunately. Unless I go down there and dig a giant hole down there and make it deeper. Well, that could work, but I haven't done that yet.
You should get do one of those things. Get like a ditch tire, something that when you miss it, you can dump it into an old car tire with some mats in it or something. Give it a soft landing. Yeah, I thought about doing that.
There's probably 100 things I could do, but I haven't done them yet. So. But I'll tell you one thing I'm not going to do anymore is drop the damn thing on the floor from overhead. So
sure.
It's really not a far walk to outside. I can drop it out on the ground. That's probably the smart thing to do. In fact, a couple minutes before I did it, I was like, I'll probably just wait until I can get outside. I think it was raining or something at the time. You don't want to be out there with the inch trying to do overhead lifting with the inch when it's raining.
Right.
And the next thing you know, I'm just pounding it overhead and dropping it from about 7 feet in the air. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Have you tried suspending it from ropes? The bell to get the pressing part of it down?
No, I haven't. No, it's a great idea, but dude, I'm really close. Like, it's really just a matter of time. I don't even think I have to put any doohickeys together. Like,
oh, okay.
It's literally just getting warmed up and primed, and when I do it, not pushing the bell out in front, but rather pushing it upwards above my shoulder so that I can lock it out. It's really just those two things. It's really close. So, and these are all two-hand cleans, by the way. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea that I'm cleaning it multiple times with my shoulder one-handed and then taking all these attempts. That they were two-hand cleans. I was working on the press. So.
Oh, okay. So you're not working on the separate feet of the one-hand clean and press.
I mean, I haven't for a week or so because it's hard on you, dude. Catching that thing.
Well, yeah, I would imagine.
It's hard on my body, you know.
Yeah, no.
It's a really, really hard feat, and my shoulders are both sore today from trying that Tuesday still. So. Yeah,
you got to watch out in that area.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, man? Should we get into this thread?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's dive in.
All right. So this thread, if you want to search, this thread is called Brian Shaw, Juji Mufu, and the Hub Lift, and it's started by John McCarter. And he says, haven't really kept up with this YouTuber for a bit. I thought it was interesting seeing Brian and Juji attempt the Hub Lift. They poke fun at how my stance was when I attempted and broke the record. But even Brian is having a hard time getting it. Hub lifting starts around 10:47. The real question I have to ask is what would happen if Brian and I met up for a Hub showdown. That would be cool. And then the video's there. You can watch the video right in the first post. And then A&W Nate Browse comes in and says, I think Brian effort makes it clear. I think Brian makes it clear how ridiculous your record lift was. So I remember hearing something about that, Alan. What do you? It's been a while since I watched this. You remember what they did or said about John McCarter's record?
I don't remember. I don't actually remember a specific reference to the record. I just do remember them talking about his stance, not the specifics of it, just it being a little bit unorthodox, perhaps. And if I remember correctly, even watching that video originally that John did it, he does take a different positioning than we see what some other people do. But,
isn't it almost like
fairly wide, if I remember correctly? Yeah,
super wide, almost so. Like in a quartered off stance, almost like a lunge maybe.
Yep. But it works for him, and I don't know if I think he might have had some back stuff going on through the years too that might have something to do with it. But
yeah.
I guess my initial thought when I heard them make reference to how he was standing in the video, here's the deal: if I see somebody lift like twice what I can on the Hub and they stand funny, I'm gonna try standing funny and see what I can get.
Sure.
That's just the first thing that crosses my mind.
Yeah, give it a try.
Yep. So I couldn't identify the Hub that they were actually using in that video, though. If they were using Juji Mufu's new Hub, or if they were actually using the Ironmine Hub. That was one thing I couldn't tell.
I didn't go to Grip Genie or anything, which is where Juji has all his equipment. So I don't even know what the Hub looks like. Does it look similar to the Ironmine Hub?
It does. Yeah, I checked out his stuff. It was from the pictures very hard to tell any difference.
I got you.
He doesn't have, all of his stuff's bundled up, so there's nothing a la carte, so you have to buy several things, not just one.
Right.
So
I hear you.
Otherwise, I'd have been inclined to buy the Hub. But I'd had to get it and the loading pin. It was like $100 or something like that. So that was a bit of a hold off for me.
Got half dozen loading pins, don't you?
Yes, I'm plenty covered on those things. So
yeah.
So I will just wait and see. But hopefully John McCarter will pick up one of those bad boys and see what he can pull out.
Right. Then you weighed in, Alan. The way a person stands has quite an impact on their lift. There's no doubt about it.
I found that huge difference. Makes a huge difference. Yep. I can't stress it enough. I have some things I pull better when I pull things from my side. block weights in particular. Other things I have to pull, like right between my legs. For whatever reason.
Yeah. I agree. Now, we're starting to get into the first major issue that gets discussed in this thread, Alan. And this comes up by Bilal, who is a member on the Grip board. And he says, Jujimufu is a godsend for the Grip community. He deserves more credit for promoting Grip. And then Nate Browse comes back and says, I think what he's doing is great, but credit should go to all who helped grow Grip. I hope that his promotion leads to that end, which I assume I think he's saying, I hope all the promoting he's doing leads to Grip growing as a whole. And certainly I do too. Slaz Bob comes in. I love his videos. I actually bought a new hub in Blockbuster since they piqued my interest in those. So I know that they've put up a ton of videos recently regarding hub and Blockbuster. And by recently, I mean earlier this year. So so that's cool that they're encouraging people to get out there and buy more equipment. Now, here we go. We're going to go down here. We got Tommy Jennings posting something. And let's see. I don't know if it was late 60s or early 70s of This Week in Grip where we interviewed Tommy. So if you want to get to know Tommy a little bit better, find that episode where we have a chat with Tommy in the Twig playlist. So he comes in, he says, not to sound like a buzzkill, but who is or has ever promoted Grip on a larger scale than Juji? I would say at this point, no one here has grown the sport to any significant measure thus far. Regardless of what fine details in Grip sport we'd all like to see better relayed, Juji and Tom are the big boys on the block for getting it out there to more people. Yes, before you ask, I would also appreciate more homage paid to certain aspects of the sport, especially in regards to the organizing bodies for competition, i.e. simply letting more people know this is an actual sport that people can come compete in. So, just real quick, I couldn't care less if the reach that I've had has come close to what Juji's doing because, as far as I'm concerned, I agree with Nate in that I hope that the promotion that these guys are doing leads to bigger growth of the sport overall. And if those people end up coming our way to do competitions within the NAGS and Grip Sport International umbrella, fantastic. If they go other routes, fantastic, because the more people that are involved in Grip in general is good. So it's not about getting recognition for, how many people you've brought into the sport or how much you've, how much you've done to promote it. But at the same time, I've been doing this for years, and I do take stuff personally when people start making comments like that. So if that makes me wrong, then I guess I'm wrong. But certain things are going to be written in this thread here that can be taken certain ways or taken other ways. And I'm welcoming the feedback that we get on this call because hopefully it'll all clear up what's actually being said in some of these posts. But to be honest, this is back to Tommy's post. But to be honest, I think we should take any amount of free promotion of the sport by Juji with more gratitude. No one gets it in more people's faces. Agreed. It's getting out there in front of people. There's no doubt about it. And if I had the time and resources to go to the subway in New York City, you can bet I would be happy to take an implement that people could get their hands on. Right now, even all the fitness YouTube channel community is suffering, big time compared to years prior, with the exception of only a few high sub-count channels. Juji being one of less than 5 or so in the fitness world still thriving on YouTube. There really is only so many ways you can tell people to eat, lift, sleep. So the fact that one of these last juggernaut fitness channels is actually being somewhat attentive to promoting Grip is Juji should speak volumes in regards to the favors he is doing the sport. None of the rest of the big channels could care less about Grip. Juji's content is still interesting to viewers, unlike many fitness channels, and he appears to have a genuine interest, which in turn, so do his followers. So what he's talking about there, Alan, is there are a lot of YouTube channels that were at one time very, very big and very, very popular and bringing in lots of money, lots of revenue through their ads, and you're seeing a decline in that.
This has come up recently. A lot of channels have been mentioning this, putting out videos about this in particular, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No, that's definitely a thing that's out there.
Yeah. There's been a few things. There was, they changed their policies, and some videos are not eligible for ad revenue based on controversial topics. So when you have someone there that's swearing and things like that, that can be flagged as a video where they're not going to get ads because they're not going to get monetary support because of the language they're using. The other stuff like violence and religious content, things along those lines are also things that would get a video flagged. But there's lots of things that can get a video flagged. So that's just one thing. The other thing, there's always updates with the way YouTube works and things along those lines. And I've found out recently that they actually discontinued the tie between YouTube and Google+, which some people feel is having an effect on the spread and reach of videos on YouTube. Is that true? I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But there are a lot of channels out there that are being demonetized completely, and a lot of those are fitness-related channels. Nick's Strength and Power just put up a video where he outlined, maybe a half dozen YouTube channels related to fitness that have been declining drastically, and that kind of goes into a little bit better detail. So what Tommy's saying there is true. There is a lot of that stuff, and Juji's channel continues to thrive. So I would advise caution on any ballsy attempt to warden Juji's content, because Juji could literally make or break us right now if he so chose. He could decide to start his own organization and leave GSI in the dust if he wanted. And he could also pave the way for another huge grip implement company if he wanted, leaving both our organization and any implement sales any of us are doing in the dust. I don't know if that's true or not. What are your thoughts on that, Alan?
I definitely disagree about the implement part of it. I suppose Juji could, if he were to err on the side of one organization or the other, do some promoting, but and drive some stuff that way. But I guess, my thought with what Juji is definitely doing a lot to promote grip. There's no doubt about it. But that was more of a side effect in my mind. This was something he did for fun, and it's just something that kind of carried on into it. Much less like doing backflips all the time and stuff. It's just he didn't pick grip sport and say, I'm going to start doing this on my channel. It just more or less kind of filtered in. That was, I don't know if that comes across as wrong or not, but I just think it's something that just more or less happened. He didn't proactively go after it, and we're just seeing it a lot because it caught on and it's helped him out, So, I do appreciate what he's done for the sport, but I think it's been more, I guess, more towards helping him directly than anything. But it's kind of my thought there.
So a couple things there. I think his interest in grip has been around for a while because he's been doing contests for at least a couple of years, especially the Ode Haugen contest in California. I think one of his the biggest bumps in his interest, maybe increases in his interest, was in April when he competed at the contest that I was at in Philadelphia. I think that he got a taste of some true excitement around grip because there were a lot of grip guys there, not just people that signed up for the grip competition. So I think maybe that was a bit of a turning point, perhaps, because after that is when you started seeing him doing a lot of grip videos. The other thing is, I think, like what you said, is he's got a tremendous following, and it's not hard to find someone to craft this grip equipment for you. So I think he saw it as an opportunity to capitalize on his channel and add something to his merchandise list. So, he's already selling shirts, and I don't know what else kind of merchandise. It only makes sense for him to provide the people that are following him with an option for the equipment that he's using. So, it makes total sense. The first, back to Tommy's. You all good there, Alan? Go back to the thing.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. The first org with decent purses is the one that's going to set the pace for future growth as far as I'm concerned. Been saying it for years. This thing needs money to grow. And we can't get it there by talking about who we think new possible big-time promoters should be sucking off. Kind of have to let guys like Juji just do what they do or risk being shunned by him and his followers. So to address that, I think the biggest truth statement there is this thing needs money to grow. And unfortunately, yes. I agree with that completely. But unfortunately, the recent effort that we put forth to actually get some money coming into the Sport of Grip was met with a tremendous amount of negative feedback. And what I'm talking about there is a small annual fee of $25 membership fee for Grip Sport International. And I was appalled actually at the number of people who were against that, considering that money would be used to promote the sport and help the sport grow. That was not to line our pockets. That was not to, pay for my website or anything like that. That was to be used as funds to use for marketing, for, a lot of the expenses that go into promoting these sports. And I, unfortunately, I don't have the following that Juji has where I have a tremendous amount of money coming off the YouTube channel and I can take all these trips. I can't do it. So, it was, and that money wasn't only supposed to be for me. That was supposed to be for all of the people that are involved in GSI. That was to make everything more efficient. But people don't want to put that small amount of money in, so it's kind of a hard pill to swallow when you ask for just a little help to grow the sport and increase the awareness, and then it's met with that kind of response. What's your take on that, Alan?
Yeah, I had a bit of an issue with that too. I didn't think 50 cents a week was such a deal breaker in terms of membership fees. When some of these YouTube channels, for example, like Juji's, he has like a $5 a month donation thing that lets you be part of his community, which of course equals $60 a year, which is over 2 times what GSI was asking for membership fees. So yeah, I had a hard time with that one myself. $25 just didn't seem like a deal breaker to me, and that would have definitely put some money into the pot, which was necessary. Yeah. We've seen recently where even one of our equipment providers, Fat Bastard Barbell Company, said, "Hey, there's no money in this, but it takes money to do this," and he shut his doors for a little while, until he could gather himself up and regroup, So that's the reality. It literally takes money, but any of it so far, it's all been internal. And right now we had to make donations voluntary, and I don't even know how many of those have come in or will be coming in. But it just didn't seem like much in the grand scheme of things. I don't know why that was such a hang-up, but we definitely need it. So I'm in complete agreement there.
Right.
So how to get people on board with it.
If you notice, Alan is saying the word "we" because Alan came aboard as a member of the GSI group of people that are behind the scenes. So I don't know if Alan's ever gotten that recognition before, but he's on the board, committee, group, whatever you want to call it. He's a part of this. So I appreciate that, Alan, that you came aboard. So that's why Alan is saying "we." But not to mention the fact that we are all in this together. And, it takes a lot more than just the efforts of one person, 5 people, 10 people, or even one company to make something like this grow. So, I guess we're just all in this together. Alan, Tommy goes to say, but then again, maybe if our sport approached him politely, it could work better in our favor. Very possible, and I don't know if Tommy realizes that Juji Mufu was here at the gym that I own a few months ago. like 2 months ago, but I'm in contact with him, so it's not that none of us have his contact information. I'm not sure of how aware Tommy is of everything that goes down. So catch more flies with honey, as they say. Yep, for sure. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, yeah, that last part of the statement, though, I guess I didn't see in particular where in the thread they were necessarily making a direct attack at Juji or anything like that. And I don't know where that had happened
either.
or if that was somewhere else. But I personally, I'm quite a fan of his.
That Bilal guy, who is, I think, fairly new, was saying we owe this guy a lot of credit for putting it all out there. Nate is someone who's been involved for 5 years or more, comes in and says, well, there's a hell of a lot more people doing stuff than you can imagine. It's more than just Juji. So it's almost like Tommy took that as a shot on Juji, and I don't really think it was.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure Tommy will get a chance to listen to this, and we'll hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's welcomed. Let's stay on the. I'm going to skip over a post because it's not related to our current topic, Alan. We can come back to it by AKJV 1769. Too Sweet Dad Strength says, I love what Juji does with his channel. Keep it different from the other fitness blogs and invite cool guests. I wonder how the community would accept someone like Brian showing up to a grip contest and crushing every world record, though. So we've addressed this. Yeah, we talked about this in, I think, August. I know it was like during a show that I recorded while JC's soccer practice was going on, or a soccer game. So I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but I would love to have Brian Shaw come into a grip contest. There's a lot of posts you see out there where people say, "Oh, all the records would get broken, and all the grip guys that have been doing this for 15 years would be so heartbroken." No, that's not true. I don't know if I own any world records anymore, but if Brian came in and broke them, then that would just make me want to get my world record back more. Like, I have no problem going against someone that's stronger than me at all. In fact, when I know that someone like that is going to be at a competition, it makes me train even harder. So, that's how it is. Alan, go ahead.
That's my attitude completely too. I would love it if they'd show up. I've never had a problem with somebody lifting more than me. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. No issue there whatsoever. I guess necessarily showing up and breaking every single record, I don't know about that. We definitely did have that discussion. I think there's potential there to break a lot of records. Not every single one. It would definitely require some specific training, but it would be neat to see. For sure, see him show up and pull on the hub and axle and things like that. And I'm definitely on board with that. If I held a competition here and he wanted to show up, I wouldn't say, "Oh, no way." So it'd be pretty awesome. It's only going to help things, in my opinion.
Right. And I'll even go even further to say that if Brian Shaw is ever in the New England area, New Jersey area, New York area, Pennsylvania area, Ohio area, Virginia area, Delaware area, all those areas are within about a 6-hour drive, okay? And there's definitely a better chance of Brian being in Philadelphia or probably Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, or, a New York City, which those are all, hour and a half to 4 hours away. If he's ever in the area, I would rearrange my whole entire work week in order to allow him to come to the gym and try every single implement that I have, even the stuff that I might be one of the best in the world at, and I would put it right in front of him and invite him to try it to see if he can beat those. And if he would, that would be even more motivation for me to get better at it. Like, there's some stuff that once I hit it, I don't touch it again for years because I lose interest and want to go do something else. So, if he wanted to come and have an inch dumbbell clean competition or something like that, then I would rearrange my whole entire training schedule to accommodate that. So I would love to have the opportunity, and he's always invited, and there's absolutely no fear. Remember, I'm the guy that asked Phil Pfister to come over and try stuff out and give him the chance to, beat me on things. So there's really not ego there along those lines. I would cherish the opportunity to train with someone as strong as Brian Shaw.
we'd really be the better for it, you know. And it's, as we know in a lot of this stuff too, it's not just brute strength that gets you there. You know, even, I mean, he's going to have a technique figured out on some of this. He's going to be analytical. We see it on these guys all the time. They take a minute, they watch what's going on, and they optimize things real quick. They shift on the fly all day long at these competitions they go to.
And if they didn't, I would show him what he needed to in order to improve, just like I did with Juji when he was here.
You'll pick up a tidbit, you know. I mean, it's just that simple. That's the difference between, you'll see some seriously strong guy that can't rip a phone book in half, and you suddenly show him how to do it, and he obliterates the thing. You know, you'll get something. Yeah, I just love to see it if these guys would show up. So.
Yep. Back to Nate. There's always, and this is in response to Two Sweet Dad Strength's post, there's always going to be some resentment existing as a niche sport grows, but the fact is that Brian isn't coming off the street to crush every world record. Ignoring obvious physical attributes, he has been training for years to reach the very pinnacle of raw strength and power. Posts that discuss strongman have been made for years, and frankly, it's been nice to end such speculation as Brian publicly dives into grip implements. I actually believe the very elite at Grip World would welcome a new challenge to chase, as most know it's hard to be the one constantly pushing the envelope. That's a pretty good statement right there. In an ideal world, when Brian retires from full-time strongman, he can move directly to grip and not lose a beat. Think Ode Haugen, Part 2. If Brian does enter some comps and raises the bar, I believe within 2 to 3 years he would be fighting to retain those records, because those already in grip will respond fiercely. And that's another good statement too, because I think a lot of people actually at the top don't have the fragile egos that everyone thinks they do, and just because someone comes and breaks a record, they don't collapse into implosion. They use it as motivation to get better. And a lot of times you do get better when you get to train with someone who is stronger than you. So
absolutely.
That's a good statement right there. Anything else on that from A&W Nate?
No, I agree completely with what he said, actually. Yep. Okay. It was spot on.
All right, now, Tommy responds directly to Nate there, and he bolds this statement. If Brian does enter some comps and raises the bar, I believe within 2 to 3 years he would be fighting to retain those records, because those already in grip will respond fiercely. He says, agreed 100%. And by the way, Nate, I hope my post above didn't come off provocative. Not my intent with that. For lack of a better put-together post, I was basically saying that Juji is the best avenue we have right now for some larger growth than ever before. I simply don't want to see him scared away, so to speak. I don't think that would happen. So since Juji is somewhat involved in grips at this point, that is unlike anything we've had media-wise. Maybe our approach to him should be new also. Sorry, it's like I can't even read. I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling, having beers, just thinking, sitting by the fryer, babysitting a turkey in my backyard. I guess this was on Thanksgiving.
Exactly what was happening.
Now Chris Rice, Climber 511, brings up the video that Brian put up of the 25,000 calorie meal. And
did you watch that?
I didn't watch that, dude. Let's just skip that one. We can talk about that some other time. Is that all right?
Well, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff about diet. All right, let's go to page 2 now, Alan. Anything else from page 1 that we should touch on?
No, I don't. I was just scrolling back through these. Yeah, that was just a lot of stuff about diet. No, I guess we're pretty well covered there.
Diet.
Oh, yeah. No, there's more. It takes a minute. Picture of Big Z. Boy, he's looking trim.
Yes.
Let's see.
It just as a reminder, everybody, there are rules on the grip board. Like, there is one person that owns the grip board. It's his board. He has rules. All right, and they've come because, for whatever reason, you know, each rule on the grip board came about due to a reason, one specific reason or multiple reasons, history, things that have gone down. I encourage everybody to read the rules because, like, there's no reason for people to bring up stuff that's going to just get taken down. It just takes away from the thread. Like, review the rules.
I'm actually really guilty of the not reading the rules thing. I know it's always out there, but I guess I just always use my better judgment. I've never been flagged anywhere for it.
Right. So, it's like, dude, dozens of times over the years, people will get their posts removed, and then they come, asking me, whether it's a text, phone call, email, oh, why did my post get taken down? You're a moderator, right? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. What happened? And then it turns out they broke rules, So, maybe people don't know there's rules, but there's rules, and I encourage people to read them if they're on the Grip Board, because it's just, being a moderator, sometimes it gets old seeing people break rules over and over and over. A little debate here on the length of their videos. I brought this up earlier. Joe Sullivan says all of their videos are too long. Tanner is Boulder Brew. He says, I actually like the long videos. I'll treat it like a TV show. I'll watch an episode of theirs while eating breakfast instead of watching South Park or whatever. That's a great point. Joe comes back. They are good if you have time to watch them so long. I like to look for the parts with the lifting, which sometimes is very spread out. Just don't have time to sit and watch the whole things. And again, you can go to your history. You can pull up a video that you already started, and you can start off from where you left off. It's within seconds of accuracy.
It actually does a brief recap. Did you notice that? It kind of kicks you back like a minute.
Yeah.
It's a nice little refresher. Yeah, especially if you got young kids.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think they make the videos a certain length for YouTube monetization reasons. Very possible. Tommy Jennings, did it come off to anyone else like maybe they kind of trolled the sport a bit with the soap blob, the lemon squeezing, and the clowning on records keeping? Maybe I'm looking a bit too far into it, but it sort of looked like a passive-aggressive way to clown the sport. Thoughts? I don't know what he's talking about there, Alan. I saw the soap blob. I saw the soap blob, which I actually thought was clever. I didn't realize how hard that was going to be. But there was actually nothing about that. I didn't see this from Tommy's angle at all. And maybe that's just, maybe they were, and I just missed it. But I didn't see them as I didn't find anything disrespectful, but I did notice that some other guys seemed to think the same thing. Yeah. What was lemon squeezing? I guess I don't even remember seeing them squeeze a lemon in the video.
Oh, they were so they had some lemons out, and they were seeing who could basically squeeze the most. This made me want to do this, but see who could squeeze the most juice. They like cut a lemon in half, and then they would squeeze it in their hand, and they would weigh the juice that came out in a scale. And that was like their little competition against each other. I thought, I mean, that's funny.
I thought that's
like breaking an egg kind of thing.
I must not watch the whole video. That's funny to me.
Don't you want to do that? Go cut a lemon and see how much juice you can squeeze. So it crossed my mind.
Well, Tommy probably doesn't know this, but I was on a TV show in 2012 called The Numbers Game, and specifically the episode was When Will You Die? So what I had you didn't know that?
No, but the name of the episode's hilarious.
Yeah.
You got to keep going here. This one's funny.
We've talked about it a few times how grip strength is an indicator for your health, your longevity, things like that. That's what that show was about. So they looked at a few different things, like whether or not you were a risk taker or if you thought about stuff and made decisions very deliberately, things along those lines. And then at the end of the show, in like the last 5 minutes, it was me yelling at this dude to climb a rope, and I took him through all these feats of strength, and I bent some horseshoes. And one of the things I had him do was we took ketchup bottles that they took the label off, they cleaned them all out, and then they filled them with water, and we squeezed the bottle as hard as we could to try to get the water to shoot out of it. And and it's pretty cool because it's like hydraulic, basically. Like you can only make it move so fast. So it's a kind of a cool way to train your grip without actual grip implements. So that's the first thing that I thought of when I read lemon squeezing. Like I didn't know if maybe they were trying to pop the lemon or what, because again I didn't see that part of the video. But yeah, if everybody wants to view that, it's on. I know it's on Netflix. I don't know that it's.
I'm going to check that out.
It used to be on YouTube. I couldn't find it when I looked the last time. We had to look on Netflix.
Well, we won't have to circle back to the diet or longevity thing then, I think, because based on grip being a determinant of life expectancy, Brian Shaw will be immortal. So we're covered there.
Well, that's possible. If there's, especially if there's a 1-to-1 proportion or relationship there, he's got a pretty good chance of living for quite a long time, dude.
Yep.
No doubt. So I don't know if it was passive-aggressive way. Not sure. Joe says he'll have to watch the whole thing. Chris comes in. I think they did and do some in other videos as well. Nothing obvious, but I think it's about the things we call world records that Brian, and we're getting into another big topic here.
Right.
World records that Brian, and in the case of the Axel, other pro strongmen routinely lift more than it. But the same can be said of the records in other lifting sports as well. It comes down to one thing, really. If you want to hold a NAGS or any other organization record, you have to play the game and show up at one of their competitions and do it there, not in the gym hanging out with your bros. So lots being said right here in this one statement by Chris, okay?
Yes.
Does grip sport get goofed on by people in videos sometimes? Yes, it has for years. I mean, it's years. We're talking back since, like, from the dawn of YouTube, there's been people busting on people in grip sport with their funny faces and weird postures and crazy implements.
We do that to ourselves, too, though.
Sure.
We got guys poking fun at their own things. I mean, you hear, like, Clay Edgen making references to what? Yeah, that's all in fun. I don't take that as disrespectful at all.
No.
Yep.
And again, when people do that, it's like,
you don't know you're doing it.
Well, I mean,
that crap's going.
I see stuff like that, and I'm like, that's pretty funny, because that's like spoofing, real world stuff. Other people post and make it sound like, my God, Jed's world must be crashing down right now because someone is picking on grip sport. No, they're not. No, it's not. We're going to end up talking about some world record stuff here. And records between organizations and stuff like that, so be ready for that. We don't need to talk about that. I don't have any desire to badmouth Brian Shaw, Juji Mufu, Tom Borden, or anything like that, so any speculation about their what supports their training, we're not going to talk about there. Okay, here we go. Tommy Jennings, responding to what Chris Rice just posted and what I just read. As far as the NAGS Axel record, yes, I can see maybe a few strongmen not taking it serious. It's not heavy enough, which is frustrating as fuck, because I know a guy personally I think can smash the overall NAGS Axel record if he just did it. So let him do it. Let him do it. Let him come to a NAGS GSI sanctioned competition and do it. Okay? On another note, I bet all those same strongmen take Mike Burke's Axel record serious. Are you serious with that, Tommy? Did you see the video of that lift?
I've seen the video of that.
That is the biggest joke world record lift that I've ever seen. How that record stands when, for instance, I heard that Jason Gonzalez got his Crushed Dust lift disqualified due to a review of the video recently. I don't know that that's a fact. That's what I heard. I didn't hear Jason say that. But Mike Burke's record does not conform to the rules for that lift. Now, are there guys that can break Mike Burke's record and the NAGS record, which I don't even know what the NAGS record is. I think it might be Andrew Durniat that holds it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, and there are people that break it. Rich Williams, if he showed up to a NAGS competition, would break the NAGS record, and I dare say he could break the number that Mike Burke's Axel record is.
I agree.
Based on videos that he's put up. You got to go to the contest, though. You got to make it to the comp.
He held it at one time, even, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think he was the first one to do over 500 pounds in competition. It was at Sorinex, and I believe the year was like 2010 to 2012, around in there.
Yeah, he was really active in that period, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Tommy says, due only to politics, I repeat, politics. Politics are the sole reason Mike Burke's axle record isn't listed on the NAG site. Now, this is a statement I take some contention with.
I actually don't understand that part. So yeah, I'll need your explanation here. Yep.
All right, so I'm assuming what he's talking about is the fact that that lift is not counted because the competition was not sanctioned by NAGS. Okay.
Okay.
So if I remember correctly, that was an Ode Haugen run competition at one of the expos. The contest was not sanctioned by NAGS. It was they never even communicated to us that the competition was going on. They didn't go through the process that every other promoter has gone through. It's not like it's hard to figure out how to get a competition sanctioned. And the fact is, Ode has never had any interest in doing that, and I know that because I've talked to him about it. These are facts. So is that politics? Or is that someone not being interested in going through the sanctioning process, which is very, very simple for NAGS? Because here's the deal. If you go and you allow one of Ode Haugen's competitions that hasn't been sanctioned to be put into the records list, you're setting a precedent. And now every single contest that takes place can say, well, you did it for Ode, why can't you do it for me?
Right.
I mean, there's contests that go on all the time. Circo Peterman has probably run more contests this year than I have in the last 5.
Yeah. Seems to run like every weekend almost or something like that. Always seeing something new, yeah.
Is there anything wrong with that? No, because they follow the rules. They follow the rules, but they're not going through the sanctioning process. So those contests aren't going to get entered in. Is that politics? I don't see that as politics. I see that as enforcing rules for the organization that were decided on back in 2011. So he says it's not like the comp he did it and had different rules for axle dead than any NAGS comp axle rules. Double overhand, no hook grip, genuine axle used, only chalk used, etc. Why would NAGS list shun that record if not for politics? For consistency. How about that for one, Tommy? For consistency. The dude has the undisputed overall axle record, and we are holding out adding his name because his comps promoter didn't check with NAGS first. I don't think that's accurate. Didn't check with NAGS first. Ode Haugen is not ever going to contact NAGS and say, hey, I want to get this guy listed as the record holder. That's never going to fucking happen, Tommy. Never. But if Ode wanted to put the contest in with our records, if he felt that was important, then maybe he would have done it. But it wasn't important to him. Is that politics? If that's politics, then I guess I'm guilty of politics, Tommy. But it's the same politics that are held for every other competitor that runs a contest, and I've personally reached out to Ode. I've personally reached out to multiple promoters over the years trying to, talk to them about our organization and the records list that we keep and all this stuff. So it's not like I'm sitting here behind a computer saying, oh, this guy's event isn't going to count. And to make the matters worse, the judging on that lift was absolutely terrible. It was terrible, and it shouldn't count, in my opinion.
I saw that too. I saw that video too, and I agree about it. I think the one thing that was doing Mike Burke a favor in particular was that he was beating his own axle record.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. I don't remember in that detail. I guess I forgot that he had a record prior to that, but that's possible. But when Tommy comes out with the statement, that's the rundown on that in case anyone reading this isn't aware. As if he's stating facts like he has the history book of Nags Grip Sport, and he's quoting from it. And people
that was interesting because what you said, I didn't know some of these things and how some of this stuff had played out. So I'm learning some of this in real time.
Right.
As well. So.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I mean, you and I have talked a lot, but there's no possible way I could relate the last 15 years to you. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yep.
So, and I can't blame someone like Tommy for, thinking they know when they don't know, because it's not like it's all documented out there. But at the same time, don't act like you know if you don't know. Don't put words in my mouth. Politics, how about being consistent with your organization that you've been trying to run and the people that have been loyal and helping you run the competition over the years and putting their own time in and volunteering and taking a loss of money, time away from their families, stuff along those lines, missing days of work, having to take vacation in order to do contests, taking meetings late at night so that everybody in all time zones can be present. By the way, I agreed with Nate's comments earlier on the Grip Sport current competition making a ferocious comeback on the records if any strongmen break them, but I changed my mind. Using the only strongman grip record as proof, the axle set by Mike Burke, and since it has been set, not a single person here has even been close enough to attempt to catch it, let alone take it back with ferocity. So, Nate, I take it back. I don't agree. All the proof I need to see that is false is in the pudding. I can't read some of this stuff. Until someone here has the nuts to step up and beat Mike's axle record, I'm going to continue to assume the strongman will run this sport over if they so choose, because obviously we don't have any other legit grip official comp list to compare us to strongman other than the axle and the RT. Of course, of which has also been dominated by pro strongmen until some recent cries for a record removal anyways. I don't know what that's about. Record removal? You got any idea, Alan?
No, I'm reading it. Trying to look back through this here. Oh, is that the, are we talking about where Alexei Tukalov's Rolling Thunder record was just changed? Is that what that references to?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's my guess. But
possibly.
I don't know. I don't totally follow. I guess I don't totally follow some of Tommy's statements here. Maybe he can set me right. But earlier on in this, he talked about knowing somebody that could come in and obliterate the record. Oh, the Nags. He talked about the Nags axle record. He's not saying, I guess, the overall record, but then he talks about it being dominated by strongmen. So I'm not sure what he's referring to here. Does he know a strongman that's going to do this, or does he know somebody? I don't know what he's referring to.
Right. I'm not sure.
He can come in and clarify. Yeah.
There's opportunities to get to the contest, and you either go if you don't. You either make the time or you take the vacation time or you don't. That's all there is to it. There's plenty of people that don't take vacation the Friday before a contest, like Cody Burns, and then drives through the night after working his shift and then comes to the competition the next day. So Chris comes in. Tommy, the same thing goes on between the various powerlifting federations all the time. Lifts done in one contest are only good for that organization. And yes, it's politics, but it's also a tool used by organizations to bring people in to compete in contests thrown by those groups. Do I think Shaw or Burke in his prime could come to Gripmas and make a big splash? Of course I do. He might splash all the water out of the pool, but until that happens, I'll continue to say what I always have about grip sport, like what we do. It's the last strength sport for the normal man, and I'll be honest and say I view that as a good thing. Everything in strength sports should not be about 450-pound monsters lifting on the main stage of the Arnold. There should be a place for the regular guy to go, compete, and have a chance to do well and be recognized for it. And if calling our records out as something less than what a few professional lifters can do, I'm okay with that. I'm old enough to remember the Olympics when professional athletes were not allowed in. Maybe that's where we are today in grip, and maybe that's where we should be for now.
Yeah, I think I probably know what his reference is there. Yeah, interesting.
So we're an hour in. We're on page 2, bro.
Yeah,
sure we're still on page 2.
And there's a lot to cover.
Yeah, there's still a lot to cover. There's lots of points being made. We skipped over the dieting thing because this is a show about grip, not about dieting. So if you want to watch that or read those posts, go ahead and check those out. Right now we're not going to cover those. We might swing back at a later show. But we've covered enough for today, I think, Alan.
Okay.
You know.
Fair enough. Well, this will give a chance for some people to chime back in and clarify a couple things. Because, like I said,
right.
that one statement I was a little I don't totally follow it, but
if it's politics that made that decision, then I guess the politics has the way I look at the word politics, that's got a negative connotation with me, and politics sounds like you're making a decision so that you are improving your chances of winning or something like that. You're making a decision based on stuff beyond just facts. And the facts are that in order to get your records added to the list, you have to do a competition that's sanctioned by North American Grip Sport previously and now Grip Sport International from this point on. And if upholding that rule is politics, then I guess it's politics. But in my opinion, it's more consistency. And I don't know why people have to make it sound like I'm like the evil fucking dictator of Grip Sport, but it's not the fucking facts. And it pisses me off. And if that loses me subscribers today, then it loses me subscribers. But by God, I like doing Grip Sport, and I like putting on competitions, and I like meeting people that also like to do Grip Sport. And I don't care if it's Brian Shaw or if it's Alexei Tukulov or Cody Burns, Adam Glass, or Rex Hubbard that wants to do it. I'll spend time on the platform with all of them. I'll train with them. I'll train against them. I don't care, because all I really want to do is help a sport that I really enjoy grow and get more people involved in it. And by God, if people look forward to their training so that they can lift on the Euro Pinch or Rolling Thunder and it keeps them off the fucking couch and out of a gang, then I'm happy with it. It doesn't have to produce $10,000 purse money for every competition. If it ever ends up doing that, then so be it. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to be brokenhearted. But the realism is that people like Rich Williams aren't going to come to a contest until they start getting paid for it. And Brian Shaw isn't going to come to a contest until he's retired from strongman, because he can't afford to take the risk of getting injured and not being able to compete anymore. And people like Ode Haugen probably won't come into NAGS either, because they don't think it's important enough for them to do so, based on conversations that I've had with them. So those are the facts, Tommy. Anything else, Alan?
No, I don't think so. I didn't realize this was going to turn into such a triggered thing, to tell you the truth.
Right.
But no, I understand. You've got a lot of history here, in Grip Sport and with some of the people mentioned. So
yeah,
I can definitely understand some of that. But yeah, I didn't even realize some of these things. So
yeah, well, I'm not trying to be an asshole and get all sensitive about stuff, but I mean, Tommy's making statements here that, like, I think he's purposely trying to make these statements. And if that's the kind of stuff that he's been doing for the last few months, trying to egg people on, and that's what he meant by being the, I don't know, shit stirrer or whatever he had a name for himself that's in the title.
Oh, Heckler. And that was episode 63, by the way.
Right.
I looked that up. We talked about that earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not, what was it, heckling? Is that what he said? Is that what you
called
said?
himself a heckler, yeah.
Heckler.
Yeah. But
It's To me, it looks like it's getting pretty personal. So if that's the kind of stuff that he's been doing for a few months, then it kind of sheds a new light on everything, in my opinion. But that's neither here nor there. The biggest thing is I want the sport to grow, and at some point you got to have consistency in the rules for your organization. And if that's wrong, then I guess I don't want to be right. So there we go.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Didn't mean to take the wind out of your sails, Alan. Sorry about that, bro.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Are we gonna bother trying to revisit this next week's episode? Or
Sure. Why not?
Okay. Well, we'll see what.
More important
I guess
stuff.
We'll see if hopefully Tommy and anybody else can have a chance to chime back in. So otherwise, I guess we'll wrap her up for now. So
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That is episode 76 of This Week in Grip. I see our hashtags are up to 2,360 now, so that's a big bump over the previous one. So good job there, everybody. We'll have to get to covering some feats again pretty soon. But Tommy, make sure you chime in. Anybody else that was listening, I would like to hear a lot more feedback on this for sure. So, but everybody, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below, and we'll be back next week to continue on this discussion. See you then.